Okay, welcome back to another glorious day in the core. Now, following on from our previous bug hunt mission where Goreman just mowed down a huge swath of xenomorphs with the flamethrower, only to get captured and dragged off as thanks for his brilliant performance, it really kind of felt more in character with the sense of the mission that our little band of Marines would try to go into the hive to rescue him after such a heroic effort. So even though this isn't a proper campaign, we will be doing the rescue mission with this one. I am carrying resources over from the last game that we did, so not everyone is fully equipped. All of Goreman's stuff got burned into the discard pile, and along with anything we used, like Ripley's grenades that we used and that sort of thing. So it's going to be campaign-esque. It's just carrying on from the last mission as best I could. The face hugger there, the egg next to Goreman, is just there for set dressing. It doesn't actually take part in this mission. A couple of things as well, a couple of rules corrections I've had from you guys, so thank you very much for pointing these out. The full auto action stops when you miss, so you can't keep firing and spending cards after you miss an action, a shot with the full auto. It needs to become a second action. Turrets roll 2d10 instead of just the 1, so they're way more effective than I thought they'd be. Black and white lines, especially prevalent on the alien hive boards, because although it does all look quite dark and everything, the black lines do mean that if you stood here and here, even though you might have trouble seeing past this white line, because you're not past the black line, you could actually draw a line of sight to there. So something that I need to bear in mind a bit more as we go into it. Also, as long as the white lines are all square with each other and don't protrude into a square, you can move diagonally. So say for example, if I had a Marine character here, I could move them there for one step, but I could not go from there to there because the white line's kind of protruding into it. So as long as it's all square and it's nice, neat box, then yeah, you can move diagonally, but if not, you can't. So, with that in mind then, let's dive into this rescue mission, try and get Goreman back and extract out the back of the APC. For this mission, we only drawing 2 motion tracker cards per turn because it's a single player thing with 1 character. I don't draw the motion tracker cards until turn 2. And the mission is only a success if our captured character, Goreman, gets out of the APC. The rest of the characters can leave any time, but they are not the priority. We need to get Goreman out. So, let's dive into this rescue mission and see if we can get our captured Marine character back out and safe with the rest of us. Okay, so starting off then, we'll start with Ripley, and there are currently no endurance cards in the exhaust pile to exhaust, but we shall draw one. Shoulder lamp. Look at the top card of the endurance deck or the motion tracker deck. You may exhaust a card to place that card on the bottom of the deck, and it's a free action to do that. So I will spend a card into the exhaust pile to equip that to Ripley. With this one, we've got 5 medium threats and 5 low threat ones at the top of the motion tracker deck, so I don't need to worry about that just yet, but just something to hang on to, I think. And then we'll get Ripley to move twice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll get Hudson to move after her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll get Vasquez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Frost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, just for the first turn, the band of Marines have exited the APC and are moving deeper into the hive to try and rescue their captured comrade. But let's go into the alien phase. So, first off, no active aliens on the board yet, so we activate blips. The blips on this board, how far do they move? 1. So, not far at all. 1, 1, 1, 1. And then they're kind of trapped in a conga line there. Okay, so motion trackers. We don't draw motion tracker cards on turn 1, so we go straight into turn 2. So, back to the Marine phase. When Ripley activates, we recycle a card, so that one from the exhaust goes straight to the bottom. And we also draw a card. What do we got? Oh, some grenades. We burned Ripley's grenades at the end of the last mission, so she currently doesn't have a backup weapon. I will exhaust a card to equip those to her. That'd be very useful with the pulse rifle. And let's think about where we want to move. I think she could probably handle that. So we'll move her 1, 2, 3, 4. And from there she can draw a line of sight, because remembering the black line is not right up to the white line, to all 3 of those blips. So we'll flip those. 3, 3, and 1. So not too bad, but still concerning. So let's get some of those models on the board. Okay then, so as Ripley rounds the corner, she sees 7 xenomorphs bearing down onto her. So we'll use her second action to fire off the pulse rifle. So spending a card to do so, and firing into the solitary xenomorph in the front. Hits on a 7 or less. That is a 6. That is a hit. That xenomorph dies. We'll spend a card to keep going. Hitting on a 6 or less. That's a 7. That's a miss. And that stops the full auto fire, and that's both of her actions done. But we do have some grenades, and we can do those after taking an attack with a pulse rifle. So I don't want to get swamped by xenomorphs this early on. So yeah, let's burn those grenades. So they are going into the discard pile. Costs me a card to use them. And we'll fire the grenades 1, 2, 3, 4 right there between both those blobs of xenomorphs. And each xenomorph in those stacks is automatically hit on a roll of a 6 or less. So there are 3 in each blob. So this pile first, 6 or less. 1 lives. 2 live. 1 dies. And the other one, 1 dies, 1 lives. Oh dear, so we've only managed to ping off 2 xenomorphs with that grenade. So there's still 4 xenomorphs there, so not looking too good for Ripley. Let's try and get someone else in to give her a hand. So let's activate Hudson, who moves 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And from there he can draw a line of sight to those 2 xenomorphs, but I don't think... Oh no, you actually could. He can see both of them from there. Okay, so we'll... Hudson has the flamer, doesn't he? He doesn't have the... Oh, okay. Well, he does have a pistol, however, so let's see if we can get lucky with the pistol then. So firing his first pistol shot into that xenomorph, hits on a 6. That's a 4, first one. And we'll spend a card to fire against 5 or less. That's a 9, that's a miss. So we managed to kill 1 xenomorph with Hudson's pistol. And he moved to get there, so that's Hudson done. So let's activate Vasquez. She can move 1, 2, 3, 4. And from there she can draw a line of sight to just these 2 xenomorphs. So let's fire off her smart gun for 2 cards, because she fires it better, she doesn't need the third. Hitting into that xenomorph, 2 dice, 6 or less. That's a 5, the first one dies. Roll it again, 5s or less. Spending a card. Oh, neither. Okay, so 1 xenomorph still alive there. Okay, let's activate Hicks then, who will step up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll get Frost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just so we can get around the site and hopefully get some defensive fire going. Do we want to move Hicks as well a second time? I think we should, just so that everyone can see. 1, 2, 3. So hopefully they can all get some defensive fire as those xenomorphs come around the corner. So that's the marine phase done. Onto the alien phase. These 2 xenomorphs both move 6. 1, 2, 3, and makes an attack against Ripley. We'll fire off Ripley first for defensive fire, hitting on a 5 or less. As a star, that xenomorph dies. Off he goes. Ripley now hitting on 4 or less as this xenomorph comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And spending a card again. Hitting 4 or less with Ripley. That's a star as well. That xenomorph is also gone. Brilliant. Then we have 3 blips here. How far do they move? 1. Again. 1, 2, 3. Not particularly keen to get into the fight, those blips, by the look of it. Then we do draw 2 motion tracker cards, because it is turn 2. So the first one. 2 blips on 4. After you place blips, move each blip in play 3 spaces. So we get 2 blips on 4, and then every blip moves 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. You could go there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that then means that these 2 blips are currently visible to the Marines. So let's flip them over. 2 xenomorphs and 3 xenomorphs. Okay, so 4 xenomorphs have appeared around the corner with one just hiding out of sight still. We don't know how much is in that last blip. As we go into our second motion tracker card, actually, just 2 blips on 2. If there is one or more hazard in the discard pile, randomly select one to shuffle back into the exhaust. So first we'll place our 2 blips on 2, 1, 2, and I do believe from last time there was a hazard card. So that hazard card was played in the last one, but since it's in the discard pile, it goes back into the exhaust pile. Okay, so thanks to that, we've put 2 more blips out on 2, and we've shuffled 1 hazard back into the exhaust pile, so that may crop up later again in the mission. But we are moving into turn 3. Okay then, so start the marine phase, activating Ripley. We shuffle 2 cards automatically back into the endurance pile, and then we draw 1. Okay, so got an event for later, and then we take Ripley's 2 actions. From corner to corner, she can draw a line of sight to both those xenomorph packs, so we'll just fire off Ripley and see what we get. So spending a card for a first shot onto this xenomorph here, needing a 7 or less. As a 10, she misses, that's her first action done. She's still got quite high on the aim dial, so let's spend another card and have another go. 6 or less. That's a 9, she misses again. Oh no. Not looking good there, Ripley. Okay. Well, let's fire off Froster's smart gun. So 1, 2, 3. And Froster's hitting on 5s with 2 dice. That's a star, kills 1. Spend a card to fire again, hitting on 4s or less now for Frost. That's a 2. That xenomorph goes. Sitting on 3s, but let's keep pushing our luck. Spend another card. 3s or less onto those xenomorphs. That's a 2, gets another one. Let's just try our luck one more time. Spending another card, hitting on 2s or less. That's a 2. Got it. Another xenomorph dead. And I highly doubt we're going to get a star with that, so we'll stop his shooting there, and we'll get Frost to rest to get 3 cards back into the endurance deck. Okay then, so now we can get a bit closer. Let's send in Hudson with the flamer, I think. So he'll move 1, 2, 3, 4 and stop. He can draw a line of sight to this blip, and he can also draw a line of sight to those 2 blips back there. So 2, 2 and 4. So let's get some xenomorph models out. Okay, so as Hudson around the corner, we've found some more xenomorphs. So let's try and tidy some of these up by firing off his flamethrower. So it takes 2 cards to fire off the flamethrower, and I will fire it onto this xenomorph here, so it's not cooking Hudson himself. So each one is then hit on a roll of 7 or less. So this first xenomorph, 7 or less. That's a 3, he's dead. First one of the pile, 7 or less. That's a 2. Last one, 7 or less. That's a 4, that xenomorph goes as well. Cool. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so those xenomorphs could get him next turn, but that's both of his actions. Okay, so let's move some other marines up and try and get him some defensive fire for next time then. So Hicks can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll get Vasquez to join them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's both of their actions to move to there, but now they've got a good line of sight on that corridor, and they will hopefully be able to defensive fire those xenomorphs as they come in. So, moving on to the alien phase then. Starting out with these xenomorphs, they move 6. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then attacks Hudson. So, actually no, he'll probably attack Hicks because he's a higher rank than Hudson. So yeah, into Hicks. Hudson can't fire his flamethrower for defensive fire, but he can fire his pistol. So I think because we fired the flamethrower, it would still reduce his aim die even though the flamer hit automatically. So we'll fire his pistol first, hitting on a 5 or less. That's a 3, kills 1. And we'll spend a card for his pistol to shoot again, hitting on a 4 or less. That's a 3 again, kills another. Hudson is a bona fide gunslinger with that pistol. Okay, then let's get Hicks to defensive fire with his pulse rifle. Spends a card to do so, hitting on a 6. That's a 5, kills 1. And we'll spend a card for the full auto ability, keep going. He is now hitting on 5s or less. That's an 8, he missed. Who else we got? We got Vasquez with the smart gun, spending 2 cards for her to shoot. 2 dice, 6 or less. That's an 8 and a 9, she missed. Okay, not good. Well, one xenomorph is still attacked then, and it takes a swipe at Hicks. Hicks's defensive value is 4, and his melee value is 2. So on a 2 or less, he'll kill it. On a 4 or less, he'll survive it. Anything more, he may potentially be killed. So let's see what we got. That is a 10. That is an instant kill. No knockdown. Hicks is dead. Swiped out by a single xenomorph. He's just gone. Oh, no. Was not expecting that. So, bye-bye Hicks. Okay, and the other xenomorph moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And can't stop on his friend, so he stays there. Ooh, that was quite nasty. Okay, well, that's the result of it. Motion tracker cards then. Actually, no, blips. Those blips up there haven't moved. How far do they go? 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we draw motion tracker cards. First one, single blip on 3. If it's not within line of sight, it immediately moves 4 spaces. So blip on 3, no one can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then next one, blip on 1. Exhaust a card for each character within line of sight when it spawns. So blip spawns on 1. And because there's no black lines there, these characters can draw line of sight to that blip. So there's 2 of them, so we exhaust 2 cards. 1, 2. Okay. So then, going into turn 4. Okay then, so start turn 4. Ripley activates and gets 2 cards back into the endurance deck. And then, because she can't see the xenomorphs from there, we'll get her to move to give him a hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she'll open up with the pulse rifle, hitting on 7, spending a card to do so. 7 or less. That's a 2. Lead xenomorph is killed. Spend another card. Keep going. 6 or less onto those ones. That is a 7. She missed. And that's both her actions done. Oh, actually, from where Ripley is, she can currently see that blip. So let's flip that over. It's 2 xenomorphs. 1, 2, and also from there, actually, she can see the blip on 1, which is also 2 xenomorphs. Yep, so we'll activate Vasquez first, so firing a smart gun into those 2 xenomorphs there. She spends 2 cards to do so, and she is hitting on 6s or less. Oh, that's a 9 for both. That's 1 action gone. We're going to have to keep going. Spend 2 cards. Let's keep some fire going. 5s or less. That's a 5. Kills 1. Spend another card for full auto once I've reshuffled these. Okay, so spending that card for full auto. And firing again. Hitting on 4s or less. Neither. Luck is not with the Marines today. Let's get Hudson to fire off his pistol into that solitary xenomorph. Hits on a 6. There's a 9, exhaust a card to fire again, 5 or less. As a star, kills the xenomorph. Hudson now hitting on 4s with that pistol. Okay, so there's 2 xenomorphs there. The question is, do we think we can kill them with defensive fire? I certainly hope so. But we desperately need some cards back in the exhaust deck. So instead of actually moving him, I'm going to rest Frost twice and get 6 cards back into the endurance pile. Okay then, and that's all the Marines done, so let's go into the alien phase. First off, xenomorphs move 6 each. This guy moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This guy moves 1, 2, 3, 4, and takes a swipe at Hudson. But first, let's do some defensive fire. Hudson will fire his pistol, hitting on a 4 or less. That's a 6, he misses. Exhaust a card to fire again, 3 or less. Misses again. Vasquez. Actually no, let's do Ripley first because she's got some decent aim dials left and will be cheaper to fire hopefully. So exhaust 1 card for Ripley to fire, hitting on a 5 or less. That's a 10, she misses. Vasquez then, 2 cards for the smart gun, hitting 4s or less on 2 dice. 3, kills 1. Dial goes down to 3, spend another card, needing 3 or less on either of these. That's a 3, kills the xenomorph, woof. Yeah, that got a bit dicey, need to reshuffle those. Okay then, so we managed to defensive fire those xenomorphs off the board. 2 blips up there, how far do they move? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can Hudson see that blip from there? Do you know, I think he can. That single blip gets flipped, it's 1 xenomorph. Okay, on to motion tracker cards then. First one, false alarm, recycle a card. Please. Desperately need those cards. Second one, scout, blip on 2. Exhaust 1 card for each character within line of sight. So blip spawns on spawn point 2 and nobody can see it from there. Okay then, so going into turn 5. Start marine phase, activating Ripley. She recycles 2 cards back into the endurance deck. And then draws a card. Oh, for God's sake. Reveal cards until you reveal a blue card, or you revealed 5 cards. So, let's reveal some cards. 1, still not blue. 3, blue. Okay. And then we discard all of those cards. Okay. We are dangerously low on the endurance deck at the moment. If we ever run out of cards, that's the mission immediately over. So I need to get some more back in there. Okay. Well, Ripley's still around, so let's get her to activate. And we shall fire into those xenomorphs over there first, so spending a card to do so, hitting on 7 or less. That's a 5, kills 1. Spend a card, go again, hitting on a 6 or less. That's a 4, kills them both. Good stuff. And then for Ripley's next action, we'll get her to move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she's almost in position to rescue Goreman. That will need to happen next turn though. Okay, so Vasquez is pretty good there. She's got a line of sight onto this corridor coming down as well as spawn point 1. So I think we're alright to lock that down. And we'll probably need some defensive fire in case something nasty pops out and has a go at Ripley. So we'll send Hudson up to help. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll rest him to get 3 cards back in. As for Frost, we'll just rest him twice. Okay, so before we end that phase, we'll also rest Vasquez twice. There's nothing she can shoot at, so it just makes sense to get more cards back in. Okay then, so moving into the alien phase, Xenomorph moves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that Xenomorph moves 6. It's not quite in range to attack Vasquez. Then the blips, that are both on the same board. How far do they move? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And is line of sight, it's a single Xenomorph. And this blip up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, motion tracker cards. First one, single blip on 4. Reveal a card. If it's blue, put another spawn point at 1. If it's red, put another at spawn point 4. It is neither. So we just get the one at spawn point 4. And he pops in there. And the second one, false alarm, recycle a card. Okay then, so both motion tracker cards done, we then move into turn 6. So start the marine phase, let's activate Ripley, recycle 2 cards back into the endurance deck, and then draw a card. Medical scanner, exhaust this card to stand up and knock down character. Please, hang on to that. I haven't reached Goreman yet, and Hudson is out of range, so I can't give that to anybody yet, and Ripley's got 2 things, so she can't. But we'll definitely hang on to that. And then for Ripley's actions, she will move and she will interact. So Goreman is now released from his bonds, although all of his equipment was destroyed when he was captured last time, so he has no weapons or armour really, so he's just a grunt until we can get him off the board or equip him with something, but he is part of the squad again. And since he is part of the squad again, let's activate him, get him ready to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I don't want to get too close, I'd rather they went after Vasquez first. Yep, and that's Ripping Goreman done. So let's fire off Vasquez, see if we can clear some of these aliens out. So, spending 2 cards to fire off the smart gun. Hitting on 6s. That's a 4, so 1 xenomorph dies. Spend a card, shoot again, hitting 5s. That's a 3, this xenomorph dies. Okay, good work Vasquez. And then for a second action she will rest, getting 3 cards back from the exhaust into the endurance. Okay, so the rest of the Marines then. Don't really need to advance Frost up, I don't think, so we'll just rest him twice. And as for Hudson, his flamethrower moving 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll get him to rest, which recycles the rest of the cards back into the endurance pile. Okay, and then that's the Marines done. So let's go into the Xenomorphs. Currently no active aliens on the board, so let's activate blips. The blip on this board, how far does he move? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can be seen, it's 5 Xenomorphs. And the blip on this board moves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a single Xenomorph, so we'll get those models out. So 6 Xenomorphs are coming down the corridor straight towards the Marines and the escaping Goreman. Okay, let's go to motion trackers. 2 cards. First one. Drones, blip on 1. Players must either discard a barricade or put a second blip at spawn 1. There are no barricades, so we get 2 blips on spawn point 1, and Ripley can see them from there, so flip them over. 3 Xenomorphs and a single Xenomorph. So 4 Xenomorphs have crawled out and are bearing down on Ripley. And for the next motion tracker card, blip at 4. If it already has a blip on model, it moves 4 spaces. There's currently nothing on spawn point 4, so it stays where it is. Okay then, so with all that done, we then move on to turn 7. Activating Ripley, no cards to recycle, but we draw 1. Getting a helmet. She's on her own again, so she can't really equip anyone with anything, but we'll hang on to those for later. And with those Xenomorphs coming down on her, and the rest of the Marines back here, I'll just get Ripley to run, move twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Goreman still has nothing, so we'll get him to run as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do we face down those Xenomorphs or do we just book it? It'll take a while for them to reach us, so I think we'll mow them down a bit with 1 and then make a fighting retreat. So activating Vasquez first. 2 cards to fire off the smart gun. Hitting on 6s. 2 dice, 6 or less. That's a 4, kills 1. Spend another card. 5s or less. Neither, that misses. Okay, so we only managed to kill 1 with that smart gun action, and let's get her out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we'll take a shot with Hudson's pistol first. He hits on a 6 or less. That's a 7, he misses. Let's burn a card with his pistol, shoot again, 5 or less. 4, kills 1. 1 goes from the pile. And then we will step him back. 2, 1, 2, there. Okay, Frost. I don't think he'd be able to see the Xenomorphs for defensive 5 who stood there because of everyone here, but if he was here, he would have line of sight because the black wall only extends to there. So we'll move Frost to there, and then we'll get him to do an aim action, so it bumps his base aim from 5 to 6. Okay, Xenomorphs to go. Alien phase. Active Xenomorphs move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and attacks Hudson. So let's get some defensive fire off with these guys. We'll start with Frost, spending 3 for his smart gun. 1, 2, 3, and he's now hitting on 6s because he took a name action. 6s or less. As a star, kills a xenomorph. Fires again, 5s or less. That's a 2, kills another xenomorph. And fires again, 4s or less. Star, kills it. That's those xenomorphs gone. Good work, Frost. Next xenomorph, move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is in range. We'll fire off Hudson's pistol first. Hits on a 4 or less. That's a star, kills it. Sorted. Then we've got these xenomorphs up here. They move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, then we have the solitary blip here. How far does that move? 2. 1, 2. Motion tracker cards. Big one. 2 blips on 1. Either exhaust 8 cards or discard a shoulder lamp or flare equipment. Ripley has a shoulder lamp. Let's discard that so we don't have to exhaust 8 cards, but we still place 2 blips on spawn point 1. Next one. Oh boy. 2 blips from 3. Spawn point 3. 1, 2. Place a tunnel token in a square that's within line of next to him within line of sight of the character. Okay, so a tunnel has appeared next to Ripley. Reveal a card. It's yellow, so we place 2 blips on this tunnel token. 2 have come out of the ceiling right next to Ripley. So let's flip these over. It's 5 and 2 xenomorphs. So they've all popped out next to our squad of Marines, and that's real problematic for us because they are currently stopping us from escaping. We do need to deal with them before we can actually get going. Okay, so then, moving into turn 8. So first off, activating Ripley, recycle 2 cards back in, and then draw a card. Discard a card from the top of the endurance deck and shuffle a hazard on the character onto the exhaust pile. We'll keep that in case we get the nasty hazard for Ripley later. So we'll activate it first, and we'll get it to fire into the pair of xenomorphs down there. So spend a card to do so, hitting on a 7 or less. That's a 5, kills 1. Spend again, hitting on 6 or less. That's a star, kills another. Keep going. Spend a card, 5 or less for the first one of that pile of 5. That's a 9, she misses. But don't really have a choice here, we've got to keep spending. So spend another card, hitting on a 4 or less. Star, kills 1, because this is her second action. Down to 3, reshuffle these. So spending the card, hitting on a 3 or less. That's a 4, she misses, and that's both of Ripley's actions done. Okay, let's fire off Vasquez and the smart gun. 1, 2, hitting on 6s or less. That's a star, kills 1. Spend another card, firing again, 5s or less. Misses. Spend 2 cards for the second action with Vasquez. 4s or less. That's a 3. Kills another. Spend another card for shooting, hitting on 3s or less. Gets a 3. 1 xenomorph left. And we're already in deep with these cards, so let's spend another one for hitting on 2s or less. No, misses. Okay, so all but 1 xenomorph was killed down by the smart gun. Hudson would be cheaper to fire off with his pistol, so we'll try that first. Hits on a 6 or less. That's a 5. Xenomorph dies. And then we'll get Hudson to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get Frost to rest twice, try and get some of these cards back in. Okay, and then Goreman. Let's just get him off the board if we can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's back in the OPC, but he's not off the board yet. So this can't be considered a successful mission until he's gone. So, on to the alien phase then. Xenomorphs move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and is within attacking range of Ripley. So let's do some defensive fire. Ripley will fire, hitting on a 3 or less. Misses. Spending, might as well, 2 for Vasquez. Hitting 2s or less. That's a star, twin star, we kill one. And we kind of need to, at this point, spend cards. I could use those twin stars now, as they're the only things that will let me hit those xenomorphs. Nope, 9s with both. So let's activate Frost. 3 cards, 1, 2, 3. Hitting on 5s or less. Star star, kills 1. 1 left, spend another card, hitting on 4s or less. Star, kills it, brilliant. Then the other xenomorph moves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So not quite enough to catch us. Blips then. Blips on this board. How far do they move? 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Blips on that board. Moving 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. There. Motion tracker cards. 2 blips on 3, must either exhaust 4 cards or place another blip at spawn 1. I think you can have another blip at spawn 1. So we get 2 blips pop out on 3 and another on 1. Next one. False alarm, recycle a card. Yes please, I needed to reshuffle anyway. Okay then, so moving on to turn 9. And I think Operation Run the Hell Away needs to come into effect. So Ripley activates, recycling 2 cards. And then she draws 1. Reroll failed defense roll, yep, keeping that. Okay, then she'll activate, moving 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Vasquez, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Frost, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hudson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll get Hudson to rest just to get some cards back in. 1. Hang on, moved 5, he can't rest. Nope, so that's both actions to get in there. And Goreman will come off the board and escape. So at least the mission's a success, but let's see if we can get the rest of the Marines evacs when they're so close to the APC. So, alien phase, Xenomorph moves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Activate blips. Blips on this board. They move 5. Blips on that board. They move 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Motion tracker cards. Oh, just exhaust 6 cards. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reshuffle, but there's only 2 there. Oh, that almost killed us. Oof. And an additional 2 blips on 1. And the next motion tracker card, blip on 4. If it's not placed within line of sight, it moves 4 spaces. Blip appears on 4, not within line of sight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that nearly killed us with the burning 6 cards, so we've only got 2 left. So going into turn 10, Ripley activates, getting 2 back into the endurance deck. And she will activate 1, ooh, hang on, will the rest of the Marines come off? Let's just imagine Hudson moved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yes. Let's just evacuate everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, off. Vasquez, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, off. Frost, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, off. Hudson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out. So, we managed to rescue Goreman at the cost of Hicks. And we nearly lost the entire team due to almost running out of endurance cards. So despite a simple mission and drawing less motion tracker cards, that one killed me more, actually. We actually lost a Marine in that one, so definitely not a mission to be undertaken lightly. Doing the rescue mission to get a character back is still quite hard. It's not an easy freebie. Do that and you get a character back, you still have to work for it. So, but those are the consequences, and that is the game you play when you do another glorious day in the Corps. So, thank you very much for watching. I think we will attempt the resupply mission as well. I do want to do another full run of the campaign, taking in mind, because I did make quite a few mistakes with the last one, and I'd like another run, A, with less mistakes in it, and B, hopefully with the Get Away From AUB ****H expansion. So we'll just do the supply run next, I think, just to see what it's like, because admittedly that's a lot of cards in the discard pile anyway. So we'll see how that plays out. So thanks for watching, and join us again next time.